So you either, if you've already opened checkers, go grab it again. If you didn't open it again, what are you going to do first if you haven't opened it yet? Start with a blank script, right? Start with a blank script. Okay. So I don't want to overwrite my flowers with the checkers. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go create a new thing. Or if you're in the code, you're going to go to File, New, and then upload that file so you don't accidentally overwrite something that was very important to you. All right, so I don't need that anymore. I don't need that anymore. I do need, let's see, I think I already opened my checker somewhere, but I don't feel like looking for it. So I'm just going to open a new one. What happens in Scratch if you load the same file 2 different times? In your stuff, you now have 2 different copies of it in your stuff. Okay, so typically when you upload something and you're logged in, only do it once. Every other time you upload it after that, you now have a new version of it in your files. So you have a whole bunch of files called checkers. Oh, look, there's another checkers. Oh, and another checkers. Shit, I opened it 3 times accidentally. All right, so let's see. Chapter scripts. What's that?
Where do you find a file for checkers?
Checkers is in chapter scripts that you hopefully downloaded. And then chapter 4 should be checkers. If anyone's having a hard time getting to it, I can put it in an announcement to make it easier to get to.
So I still can't log into the computers last time.
Yeah, so you lost all your scripts there?
Yes.
Okay.
each time.
So would you like a couple of these? Who else is in that? I'm just going to put it in the announcement.
Well, I got it.
Oh, you did manage to get it? Okay.
But for next time, they'll be gone again.
Yeah, okay. I got to make a note to check with IT about getting these computers log-inable.
I have a bunch of spare 4 gigabyte USB drive.
Oh. Cool. Student logins. All right, I will, after class, double check with IT about how to make that work properly. All right, so here is the checker script right now. And this is part of Try It Out 4.2, is that right? Yep, Try It Out 4.2. So in the book, they explain how the code works. So I'm just going to run the code, then I'll walk through how it works. So hit flag. You can see all the procedures flashing. It's kind of cool when they do that. All right, I'm just going to run it again just for fun. Not quite. It's checkered. That's for sure. So what's going on here? So when I click the flag, the sprite, which is the cat, who is currently not being shown, we've got the invisible eye, the eye crossed out there. He points in direction 90, sets the pen size to 2, pen color set to 120, put the pen down, erase everything if there was shit on the screen, and then calls checkers 4 rows, 6 columns. Okay, so what's checkers? Checkers is up here. Checkers says make X rows and Y columns. Okay, so they have a number input X and then a label called rows, a number input Y and a label for columns. And it repeats X times. Okay, what's X again? The number of rows we're going to draw. And then inside there, it has rows of Y squares. So then it's making a column each time. All right, what does row of Y squares do? So that's over here. It's row of count squares, it repeats count times. What's count here? Well, let's see. Row of Y squares, row of count squares. So whatever Y is here is what count becomes here. And then it takes that number, it sticks it in for the repeat, and it's going to call square. Oh, what's square? That's over here. Square needs side steps, and it's always going to repeat 4 times, move side steps, turn 90 degrees. We made a block like that before, right? So define square draws a single square. Row of count squares draws however many squares we want, one after the other. And then the checkers program says how many rows to draw, basically. Okay. So this is broken down, okay? And when we break down a program like this with name procedures, this is called structured programming, where this could have all just been in one big long code easily. We don't even need procedures for this, okay? But we'd have to repeat a bunch of code over and over again. The code would be wicked long and hard to read, okay? This supposedly makes it more readable, and it makes it easier to edit later, okay? Because without the procedures, your code just would be a lot longer, and it wouldn't have names, okay? Can we get by without naming chunks of code? The answer is yeah, but if you look at it 6 months later, you're gonna be like, what the hell was I doing here? There is a kind of a fallback for that. Most computer languages allow you to put comments in your code. So you could have put all of this in one big chunk here. It would be structured much differently, but then you could add a comment explaining why you did what you did. So that way, when you look at it 6 months later, you're like, oh, that's why I did that. Okay. So commenting code can be very useful. All right. So that's the code. Highly recommend reading through the 2 pages that describe the code. They just use more words to kind of go through what I did here. You'll get a different perception of it when you read it. Try it out 2 says, what do you think will happen if you change the point in direction 90 to point in direction 0? So if you haven't done this yet, just pause, don't do it. Think, what's going to happen? What is point 0 direction? What does that mean versus 90?
Different direction.
The different direction, yeah. 90 was out to the right, 0 is going up vertically. Does this depend on direction, the script? Totally, right? It depends on direction to make a square. It depends on direction to make a row. It depends on direction to make the next row. So let's change it to 0, and you can make a guess at what's going to happen. Nothing?
No direction.
Okay. Do it and see what happens, and then think about it. So I'm going to change that to 0, and I'm going to run the script. What? Oh, shit. Oh,
Can't find it.
okay. You can't find it? Okay. So I'm going to pause right there while you guys think about that. And I am going to put my copy of checkers in the announcement. Aiden, were you able to find flowers?
Yeah.
You got that one. Okay. So let me put, oops, wrong button. Share.
The chapter for sample script, you put your sharp one in flowers, but not checkers.
Okay, right. So I'm going to update that announcement. Let's see, what are we going to do next after this one? I'll put that in there too. So let's see. I can just reply to my announcement. Here is my checkers scripts. Okay, so then you can, what do they call it in Scratch again? Remix? Yeah, thanks. All right, let's get that in there and post it. So if you go to the course homepage at the and click on my sample scripts for chapter 4, underneath you should get that. So you can that'll take you to the place where you can remix it. Okay. All right, so let's see. I want to go see inside. And I am going to also make a copy of this just for fun. Where's make a copy? Save as a copy. So I don't mess up the other one. All right, so what did you think was going to happen? Anybody? Somebody said nothing, but that something definitely changed, right?
I thought the whole thing was gonna rotate, like.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Oh, it's gonna, instead of, going 4 up and down and 6 across, it's gonna go 6 up and down and 4 across.
Pointed in direction 105. I want to see what that was. It makes a little more sense.
Do what?
Point in direction 105.
105. Okay, 105.
So it's just a little off, but.
Okay, that kind of does like what you were thinking. It'd be nice if things lined up.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, just a note on that. So I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna go back to the 90. My first impression about what would happen with 0 before I did it, and this is true of a lot of people I talked to, but not all, maybe like half, was it would take this and rotate it 90 degrees, redrawn.
I think the
Okay.
code was set to go down instead
Yeah.
of going left.
Ah, so what's a fix if we wanted that to happen then? Do you think? So so basically to try it out says make it 0 and then try to fix it so it does something different, like draw a 6x4 instead of a 4x6 rectangle. So I'm just gonna pause there, let you guys screw around with it. And I'm gonna give you about 4 minutes to come up with an answer. And then I'll show you my solution. Going backwards, looking at it, the simplest thing on the screen is the define square, which just says wherever you are, repeat 4 times, move, and then turn 90, do that right 4 times. That makes a square. Okay. Then that is used in the row of count squares, which is also called the row of function, I guess. And it repeats however many count times is, and it draws squares with 20 steps for the side length. And then it moves to the right 20. Oh, it's only moving to the right though if the person is facing to the right. If the sprite is facing up, it's going to move 20 up
And we have to make it no.
right here. Okay, so that's an interesting observation. And then down here, what's going on? It's moving count times -20. The hell does that mean? Count times -20. All right, so let's see. I'm going to put this back to 90. And I'm going to run the script again. Then I'm going to take this in a screenshot. What's going on? Often when I program, I have a piece of paper next to me where I'm messing around with what's going on in the script. So I want to mess around with this here. Okay, so magic pen is missing somewhere. This works. Yeah, we got a pen. Okay. So again, when it does this procedure here, it's going to run through count, and that's going to count these squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So that is this block right here. And then it does this move. Okay, so count in this case was 6. It says move 6 times -20. What's the significance about the number 20 in this script?
What y is being changed?
It's what y is being changed by, it's what x is being changed by, it's the size of a square, length and width, right? So what it's doing is it finished right here. And then it's saying run back here and start again. Yeah. So okay, interesting. All right, let's grab another chunk of code to put in here just to think about. Let's grab this here. Oops, screenshot. Let's think about this right here. Add to current page, please.
Were we supposed to set to 0?
We were supposed to set the point and direction at the top.
Okay.
I just changed the X. Changed the Y to X.
Okay. That's all right. Let's see, where the heck did I put my notebook? There it is. Okay. Yeah, so this one down here, so this is what you're getting at. Let's get a blue pen, maybe. Ah, stay still. That right there, after it draws a row, it's changing Y by, so this one said go left as many times as you need to. This one says drop down by -20. But if we want to change the orientation, what do we really want to do there?
Make it go.
Change X by a certain amount. So running the code again with the 0 in there. For the first row, when we put a 0 in there, the direction turns into a column. but it's still changing Y instead of X. What we want to do after it draws the first column, we want it to jump over to the right a little bit. How far would we like it to jump to the right? 20. So what we're going to do is we're going to go grab the change X by and stick it in here. And we're going to put a 20 there. And I could either get rid of the change Y by completely, or I could just put it as a 0 and then it doesn't do anything. Okay, so I'm just going to do that change. But alternatively, we could just pull that out. And now run it. Hey, it's doing it. Okay. Now, the script's a little misnamed now because draw row is now drawing columns instead of rows. But it works the way I thought it might when I just did the change 0. And this is going to happen in your scripts all the time. You write the script, you have this great idea, and then someone says, can you make it do this too? And you're like, oh yeah, I'll just make this little change here. And then all of a sudden your script kind of blows up and doesn't do anything near what you thought it would do. That one little change cascaded, and you got to figure out what else to adapt. That happens all the time when you're programming. Because either you get an idea on how to make it better or different, or somebody else makes a suggestion. What's up?
Would it be possible to have it so that you can be using variables that